Hi there, I'm Dylan. I'm a Mississippi-born U.S. Army veteran, and at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with a rare early-onset dementia. So, I left my job, and I'm traveling around the country meeting people and creating memories while I can. So hit subscribe and join me on my journey.
What's going on? I am in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. As you can see, if you've been following along, I've covered quite some ground since I last checked in, and so that's kind of prompted a new way of doing things. So how we're going to kind of transition moving forward is I've brought in my good buddies Dan and Dave, and they play a major role in kind of making Dylan Does America happen behind the scenes a lot. And so then what we thought was we're just going to kind of come together once a week, or maybe at least for now, we'll go once a week and kind of just do an update and kind of do a live stream. So this is going to be our first one. It's not going to be live, unfortunately, just due to Facebook policy. So moving forward, though, we will be live. And here's Dan and Dave.
Okay.
What's
Hey,
going
Dan.
on?
Oh, just hanging out. I love Coeur d'Alene. I spent a few years, or I spent a few months here a few years ago, and it was I was in the winter, so I haven't really seen it much in the summertime.
It's
Well,
awesome.
it looks beautiful, Dylan.
It's
Looks
a
beautiful
beautiful.
there.
It's a beautiful background. Just for all our viewers at home, I'm Dan, and
Oh yeah, this is Dave,
that's Dave.
and I'm wearing my Dylan Does America T-shirt.
Yeah.
How come I didn't get one?
So,
So actually,
all right.
my sister got that together, and I didn't know what she was doing. She just asked me a shirt size.
Well, that's okay. I'm going to place my order then right after the broadcast.
Yeah.
Merch.
Merch. It's so awesome, Dylan. It is so cool watching you go across America on all the social media platforms. It's like, where's Waldo? It's like, where's Dylan? Kind of going through.
That's the thing, like I sometimes don't know like what I'm gonna capture because a lot of times I'm like so excited to get to something, and then I'm like, eh, I've seen it. Like I've seen 1,000 pictures of it, or like so I just don't receive things that way sometimes. Sometimes I do. I kind of just take it as it happens.
It has been really interesting the places that you've ended up liking and the places you've ended up thinking you were gonna like, maybe not so much. And
Yeah.
we have some clips of some of the cooler places you've been, and then maybe we can talk about them after.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Sounds great.
let's do it. Let's do it.
This is I did Route 66 from Chicago all the way to LA, and that was where I initially thought I was going to chat for. I thought I was going to have so many interactions along the way. It was going to take me. I initially thought it was going to take a month to do Route 66. And I think I did it in like 13 days. It was just I just kind of just really got in the zone driving and just really was enjoying the slow drive and just kept doing it. And so eventually I kind of was almost done with Route 66 and was like, oh man, um, this isn't going as expected. And so it's kind of helped me reassess things, and I kind of got a different appreciation for Route 66 than I anticipated, and so it was still a very positive, great experience. I would do it again. So
Dylan, look at the. It looks like you came home with more than just experiences. Look at the bugs on that bumper. Oh,
oh man,
Oh
you have no
yeah.
idea.
oh my
And that
gosh.
the Tesla sits at such a height that it just like collects bugs like you wouldn't believe. In fact,
Wow.
I just watched
Now,
it yesterday, and it's already about as bad as this video. So,
wow. Now, Dylan, I do
Yeah.
remember you saying something pretty interesting on your trip. You met some interesting people. You encountered some interesting people along the way, and there was something about that group specifically that I thought was really interesting, and I didn't know if you wanted to share.
which
Yeah, no, yeah, our international uh, folk, kind of like traveling Route 66, and
Oh yeah, and
it was
so
so
kind of leading up
cool.
to Route 66, yeah, like over the last couple of months, I've been doing a lot of research on Route 66, and so through that, I joined several Facebook groups. And what I found is even before starting Route 66 and doing it, I found that there were so many international people that were like coming over just to do Route 66. And I think I was in Pontiac, Illinois, and they had like this little mural that you can drive up. I think I posted it on Instagram. This little mural you can kind of drive up. It's got like Pontiac, Illinois, and Route 66 and all that. Anyway, it's so I was in there and they have like a little museums. I was checking it out, and the next kind of couple that came in after me, they were from where were they from, Dave? I can't.
Sweden?
I think they were from like Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they were celebrating their 10-year anniversary, and their 5-year anniversary was supposed to be spent doing Route 66. And so now they're here 5 years late, but they were just kind of. They said that they appreciated it. They were coming back later. Yeah, yeah. But they seem to really be loving it. It's just really fascinating that you know people are coming just to do this old like. And I'll tell you, like Route 66 it's not a pleasant drive necessarily. I mean, you're driving slow and you're driving on roads that are less than ideal, like 70% of the time. Because what I did is I stayed true to Route 66 as much as I could, and so like a lot of times I'm driving like parallel to the interstates, and so I'm just kind of putting along, listening to my audiobooks, and everybody else is just kind of zooming through, and kind of just different time for different things.
Yeah.
You zoomed quite a bit actually. And so what's really interesting for those of you watching, these two have Teslas. I still pump gas. Every 3.5-4 days. So I have to ask because I'm still not sold. I don't think I'm sold yet on the whole Tesla thing, the whole EV thing. I mean, Dylan, you have like totally bought into this because like you're living in the car right
Yeah.
now. You're like living in it. What was it like going across the continental United States in a Tesla? Like, how did you charge? How did you live? Like, what was it like?
Yeah. So I tend to have some days of I call them like travel day. Some days I just really feel like driving, and I might drive for 6 or 8 hours those days. And so when I'm doing that, I typically stop at superchargers. And honestly, I mean, I'll just be frank and honest. Like sometimes that's not even like that cheap, but it is still. I mean, compared to my pickup truck that I had before, it's just astronomically cheaper.
Is it
And so that's what I
$75?
do on my.
Is it $80 to
Yeah,
fill it? No.
no. It's like 16.
16. All right, not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, maybe a little more. It depends. California got expensive.
Oh, there you go.
Uh, but a lot of times, like there were several days that I didn't even pay to charge at all, and I'm covered 200 miles, 300 miles some days just by. There were several slow chargers kind of along the way. Route 66 kind of like they've put an effort to make it electric vehicle kind of accessible, and so they call it the EV Route 66, and that's it's pretty. What they've done is they've kind of placed some kind of strategic free chargers along the way. And so I think the first night that I camped on Route 66, I was at this old service station that's been closed down for years, but they still have they just have like a little mural outside and a charger that's free, and so that's where I sleep. And so I'm using the services. I can sleep there, and I wake up and I'm at 100%, and I drive for 300 miles, and then I think about it again.
Yeah,
um,
because we talk about slow chargers, like we use the term slow charger, but really, Dylan, it's about how long you probably, go to
yeah,
sleep for the night and you're fully charged and you wake up kind of thing.
right. There was one time or once or twice on the road that I did wake up and something had happened in the middle of the night and like the charging had stopped. So there was one morning that I did wake up and have to sit there for like an hour. I didn't because I had to. I chose to just so I could get it for free. Um, yeah, but I mean it's just kind of just there's always going to be an inconvenience with everything, and so I just kind of roll with it. And
So now I have to share this. So Dave and I are much larger than you, and I have to play this next clip. It's out of
okay,
sequence of what we thought. I have to play this next clip because so those of you watching, Dylan is camping in his car. Like he is going on this journey, which is I applaud you for doing this. It takes a lot, I think it takes bravery to like break free and do this and follow it and follow it through. I have to play this clip because it shows Dylan getting out of the car, like waking up in the morning from the back of the car. I could never do that. I couldn't maneuver this way. Hold on. Let's play this.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's check out the spot.
Never in a million years could I do this. I couldn't do
No.
this.
Yeah, no.
a Hertz truck drove by.
that just drove by.
So like at this point, you're just waking up. You're waking up and you're like, I'm
Oh yeah,
ready.
this is me. waking up, throwing on a shirt, and rolling out.
Rolling out.
I mean, I could have went out the back door, but my sandals were up front.
Wait, leave your shoes at the front door. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there were nights that I would put my things under the car, like my sandals are, like when I was staying on the beach. There were several nights that my sandals were just so dirty that I just like put them outside under my car, and it was fine.
Wow. We had a question come in on one of the chats that said, do you have any interactions with animals? Like, do you have things that, like, any weird things happen at the night? Like, is there a bear that like hits the door? Like, nothing crazy.
No, not yet. I have not experienced that.
Oh, that's
A lot of the places that I sleep aren't like this. Most of the places are kind of like that slow charger kind of place. Sometimes like parking lots, like grocery store parking lots. Sometimes like all these places that have these free chargers. And so with that, like there is like honestly I hear more people more often than I hear nature and animals and whatnot.
It's just such beautiful scenery. I mean, that's what I love following, like the journey. I know. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
Yeah. So this is it's kind of in Northern California. I don't remember exactly where, but it was TV Tower Road. So there was several. It was National Forest land, and so it was kind of free camping all along this road.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I scraped a little bit north of that, and so I had to turn around and come back down.
Well, and so why don't we talk about that, Dylan? Because along Route 66, you made some side trips, right? Like you went to the Grand Canyon. That might end up being like its own video. You went to Phoenix, but then eventually you hit California. You went into LA. Um, and I guess I didn't realize exactly where Route 66 ends. So like I didn't know if you wanted to share that because that struck me a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, it ends right on the Santa Monica Pier in LA, basically. And so, I mean, kind of if we want to back up just a tad, like I had a really really rough time at the beginning of Route 66 with Chicago. Mostly, I get stressed out in big city kind of environments. And so I tried to go, and I'm always going to try. And so, speaking of animals, a deer or something just ran by.
Called it. Called it.
Yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were talking about basically with the PTSD, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to be going to the large cities. So going into
Yeah.
LA was.
Yeah. Well, so I had a great deal of stress leading up to LA because I had never driven in LA. Me and my sister had actually done like the second half of Route 66 several years ago, but we skipped the very end just because I was driving and I didn't want to drive through LA. And so, I definitely had to do it this time. I kind of faced that. And I mean, I'll be honest, like that morning, I was having like, my body was shaking. I was so nervous to just to be in like, it's not so much the driving, it's the being around that many people, just kind of being, I don't know, that vulnerable, I guess, that exposed.
Yeah.
But I found that, and maybe it was from many of hours of just kind of riding in silence or kind of self-reflecting and stuff. But I would say that maybe Route 66 kind of prepared me to get into LA because I had a pretty good time in LA. I had a much less bad time than I expected.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so Route 66, you went to the pier and you just like, I'm done or
Oh,
like.
it was pretty neat. I was going down to the pier, and when I was going through, like someone like yelled like "Hotty Toddy." I had my Ole Miss tank top on, and so it was opening day of college football, so I had to. And so I was walking by, like, so I talked to them. It was this family from Oxford, of all places, pretty much my hometown, and it was fascinating. And then,
Yeah.
maybe 100 yards up the pier, there was a couple from Memphis. Kind of shared with them, and yeah, it was super cool. People, I will say, like, just in general, like the people that I encountered in kind of the West Coast, all of it, just over the top friendly. Much more so. I mean, I'll admit, like, I kind of went in with some preconceived notions, just human nature, and yeah, I was kind of disappointed in myself for kind of expecting to have a different type of time.
Yeah. And you know what I think is interesting and kind of a juxtaposition is we were just talking about how you notice people on Route 66 from Sweden. Then you get to LA and you find someone from your hometown, right? So
Yeah.
like it's kind of a weird coincidence. But I guess Dylan, um, if you were to try to name something that like is worth remembering, you went down Route 66, from the beginning in Chicago all the way to Santa Monica Pier. What's probably the one thing that got you?
I just make time for what you want to make time for.
What's her name? No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean it's just like I kind of live by this mantra of like trying to like intentionally like slow down and just kind of soak life in, especially with the kind of my recent diagnosis and everything, and it's kind of really made me just appreciate life in a different kind of a way. And um, but yeah, I mean I think that's the big thing to it is like the whole thing is like I've driven many of these roads before, minus like the West Coast. Like my whole route east I've driven before, and most of my route west I had driven before. But the difference was like this time I'm going about it like just with a different mindset. I'm going kind of with the intention of trying to just experience like whatever the day is gonna give me. And like there are days that yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure it's a different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. I mean, like there, and you're having so many like experiences as you're going. Like, I want to play. Can I play the Redwood Forest video? Like, I find that to be so cool. I mean, this like watching
So
you
we are in
watch this.
we're in the Redwoods National and State Parks. I'm on a Humboldt Road area, some scenic road that I found kind of within the park. One of the park ranger visitor center, actually he was a volunteer, helped me out. Yeah, it was great. This has been like probably the coolest part of the Redwoods. I mean, it's just like it seems like it's like otherworldly. Just wish you could see how big these trees are. Yeah, I'm just like, man.
This is it. Look at
Yeah,
this.
I'm doing a little time lapse
Yeah.
or time warp, so hopefully it's turning out well.
It did
I'm
not.
gonna kind of keep rocking on.
It did not.
Crap.
I love it. There's
Yeah.
a lot of good promises in those videos, right? It just so everyone else knows, Dan and Dave, we're the editing team behind the footage. So let me tell you, like it's so good. There's these lingering promises of there's going to be this beautiful thing, and then the camera falls off and shatters on the ground. And
That actually happened.
these are real
That
things.
did. It was a kind of it ended up being like a month kind of setback.
Yeah.
The
So
whole thing said and done.
if you find yourself with a dementia diagnosis and want to travel the country and you need video editing services, just call us. I mean, we're happy to help do the video editing. We make it happen, right, Dylan? Good support system.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And so
kind of
if I can,
actually. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Dylan.
I was
There you
just
go.
going to kind of say like kind of something kind of moving forward that I'm kind of looking forward to is sharing some of like I have like several like little raw kind of, and we have one that we're going to share. But there's many days that I do these kind of confessionals or kind of like what I'm feeling in this moment. And so what I'm going to kind of work on over the coming weeks is kind of setting aside a few of those to share. Yeah, honestly for me like kind of like sharing my story, like talking about it, like it just it gives me excitement. It gives me like something to look forward to, and yeah, gives me strength.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Dylan, because I feel like so like I definitely I monitor your progress most days. Like so like we have like a little GPS app and I can kind of see where Dylan's going, and it's interesting because Dylan does slow down and soak it in, and he's also sometimes you'll see Dylan in an area and he's like finding new roads to get different places, and it's kind of interesting because throughout this journey, I think you did get a hotel room once or
Oh yeah,
twice over the course of a month, but you've essentially been in your car, but you've never let go of having that sweet tea no matter where you are in the country, you have some sweet. And so like we actually have some real footage of Dylan in like Washington State bringing sweet tea from like
This
Southern
is Northern,
California. Like,
in Northern
yeah,
California, in Big
yeah.
Sur.
Well, yeah. So like, I mean, we actually have a clip of that too.
Here.
And there's there's Dylan here eating a sandwich,
Take some
um,
sponsorship, Milo's.
just in a beautiful location. Um, but yeah, it's logistically, it's I think it's pretty cool what you're doing in terms of like you're camping out of a car, but it's it's luxurious in some ways compared to like roughing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're never letting go of that sweet tea, Dylan. You know.
No, that was actually my last like reserve. I usually I buy it by
Reserve
the gallon.
bottle.
Two of these just as like a reserve that I hid in the bottom of the cooler, and I was really wanting one.
Yeah. And so if I can, so basically,
Look at
once
the
you finish
sandwich
with
too.
Route
Like
66, yeah,
I was hungry.
that is a huge sandwich. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But so Dylan, after you finished Route 66, you started going up California Route 1, 101, and that's kind of the journey you've been on, and that's kind of where you're at now, is kind of Pacific Northwest sort of
Yeah, I would
area.
say.
Yeah, like if you can walk us through it, like exactly where you went.
Yeah, so after Route 66, I actually went down to San Diego. Just I feel like you're supposed to see San Diego. It was beautiful. I did not go to the city though. I just kind of flirted with the beaches and then went up the coast. And so from there, I kind of just went back through LA, and I kind of went up and like saw the Hollywood sign and stuff. I went middle of the day, middle of the week versus the weekend when I got there, and so it was less busy. And then so yeah, but my favorite part of like honestly the whole like 1 and 101. So it goes all the way up basically to the northwest corner of Washington State. And I pretty much took it the whole way up. I did detour out from there to go to Crater Lake in Oregon. I think that was really my only real detour off of 101 and one, kind of up the West Coast Highway.
Yeah. I mean, if it's all right, Dan, can we play the video with Dylan, fast forwarding just a little bit, on the beach? You had this shot that I was looking at on like the
What's
GoPro
going on
cloud, and it's just awesome. Yeah, we can play the volume because Dylan's kind of giving us a lecture in tidal beaches over here.
today? I am kind of on the outskirts of America. um, I am at Olympic National Park, technically, I think. I just left the Tree of Life. It's this tree that's kind of like, oh man, it was just super cool. Got a few pictures of it. I was quite crowded at the scene, and you can't really get close enough for the GoPro to take a good video of it anyway. I'm hoping so I'm kind of just walking on this really wide open beach. I'm kind of doing a little spin here. You can tell that it's not very busy here. It's good, and it's about noon. It is a Tuesday, so it probably has a factor.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, but you can tell it like this is a pretty big like tidal beach, because like I'm pretty far away from where the waves are now, and it's still pretty wet from where the waves were somewhat recently. Anyway, that's how tide pools work.
Yeah. That's how tide pools work. Yeah, Dylan, it's kind of interesting too because you're on this journey, but it's not that you don't have a level of training in some of these things. It's actually kind of cool to listen to. Like, I'm not sure if everyone knows your background, but like, I mean, that might be something people want to hear about.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I guess that knowledge, came from I was air traffic control in the Army, and so with that comes a little bit of weather training. And I'll be honest, I'm just fascinated by storms and weather, and so it's just something that I often seek more information on.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking specifically at your shirt right now. You went to Delta State for.
Oh, you mean like big picture stuff, all of it?
Oh, Dylan, like you're educated in this. This is
Oh yeah,
yeah, this is
I'm like I'm like a well trained camper. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
no,
Um,
seriously, yeah.
no, I mean it gives me certainly gives me a lot of the know how as far as like finding these free campsites along the way, like these national forests or like Bureau of Land Management properties and or land that I can kind of camp on for free. Um, so yeah, like some of that knowledge has certainly been very helpful, but a lot of it, I'd say, like the most useful bit that I kind of use every day is just the kind of the intentionalness. Like I'm going here to do this. I'm going here for this and nothing else. If other things happen, that's great. But like I know that, and that sometimes this makes it challenging for me because it kind of makes me a one track minded in a way. Um, and so, like for example, I got to Coeur d'Alene pretty fast from Seattle because I was just ready to be in Coeur d'Alene. I was going to spend a few days here.
Dylan, we know why you went there that quickly, and I'm pretty sure it had to do with a breakfast burrito.
Oh
Which,
my god,
I mean, this is
this
not a
thing!
paid
Oh,
advertisement, but I mean,
I should ask him. I'm gonna have at least three more before I leave. So I'll
I'm
tell you, a side part of this channel will likely be me trying to find the best breakfast burrito, or just one that is a little bit better than this one. I have yet to find one that's even comparable.
Dylan, you aren't speaking to my every single day. I'm speaking to every, but I keep going back to the same exact place every single time, and I just hope that it gets better. I'm not buying a Tesla and going across the country, but yeah, I can identify with that.
well, but there might be people watching that are all over the country, and if you want to comment on this video with where Dylan should find his best breakfast burrito, I'm pretty sure he's going to track it down. So,
Yeah, I'll go. The place I'm talking about is Mexican Food Factory in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If you've been there and you know the one's better, I'll take it. um, but if you have in your area, just I'm probably going to pass through there again.
Dylan has basically driven around the entire country. And I mean, it might be something our viewers want to know, Dylan. How many miles have you put on this car in 5 months?
Oh, I think the last we looked was at like 50,000.
Yeah.
No, total. No,
Yeah.
no. So I think I've
Yeah. Well,
had
no.
it.
So
I got it in April with 20,000. So I've had about 30,000 miles in 6 months.
yeah.
For us petrol people, that would be so many oil changes. That would be so many. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
that's
Yeah.
the thing is like, and so that's where it kind of gets a little bit. I'm not discouraged, but like I kind of look at like the charging like cost, and I was like, oh man, that's a way more expensive than I thought. But then I think about how much driving I'm actually doing. You know, like
Yeah. You're
I've
closer to
never done this many
35,000
road trips.
miles.
Like, yeah, I've never gone this long of a trip.
That's killer.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Dylan will be in your area.
yeah,
Probably.
pretty
More
likely.
than likely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hit nearly every
So
state
Dylan,
now. My gosh.
yeah, almost. Yeah. So Dylan, like, what are your plans for the future? Like, what are you going to be doing for this next week until we check in next?
Yeah. So well, I'm just going to back up just a little. Kind of
Sure.
how I kind of imagine things going. Um, oh shoot, I forgot. I don't remember where I was going. Back up,
No, it's all
back
right.
up. Just asking your question.
No, yeah. So I mean, just so because you the last we knew you were going to go Route 66 and kind of go up the California coast, and then you're going to maybe come through the Badlands or yeah. I,
Yeah,
I was just kind of I'm looking for like what's your plan? Like, what are you doing?
yeah. So I'm trying to make it to this hot air balloon festival in
Mm,
upstate New York next weekend, and so I don't know if I'm going to make it.
far. 40
I don't
thousand
know if I'm going to make
miles.
it. Yeah, I'm going to kind of. I've got the next couple days of driving. I don't really have to decide, and so kind of when I get to the point of if I want to go slow, I'm going to go kind of through the Badlands in South Dakota. If I want to kind of like truck along in places that I haven't seen before, I'm going to kind of go up through North Dakota. I've not made that particular drive east or west, I guess. Yeah, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure
well,
which route I'm going to go yet. I'm actually, I'm kind of the next couple days, Friday. So today is Thursday. Actually, as you're watching this, I could be sailing. Um, so yeah, I'm going sailing with, I think it's called Dog Smile. It's a veteran nonprofit that kind of takes veterans out sailing, and I reached out to kind of Terry, the outdoor pursuits program director here at North Idaho College, and and that's where my connection with Coeur d'Alene was. And so I reached out to him, just kind of hoping to connect, and he was like, "Oh, you know, get me a time that you're going to be here." And I was like, "Okay." And so I told him, and he was like, "All right, we're going sailing sunset." I was like, "Okay, sweet." I've never been sailing. Um, Kind of in my field, I've been around a lot of people who are like sailing fanatics, and I've just never like been with them in the right season.
That's awesome. Should we do a shameless promotion right now? Should we be
Yeah,
absolutely shameless?
of course.
Let's be shameless. Okay, guys, if you haven't
Oh yeah.
subscribed yet to Dylan Does America, you need to be on this page and subscribe to Dylan Does America. 159. We want 1,500 subscribers in the next 30 days. I think we can hit it. Don't you, Dylan? I think so too.
Yeah,
We
sure.
also have, if you want to learn more about Dylan, DylanDoesAmerica.com. You go right here to this page. You'll see Dylan's first video. You can meet Dylan. You can also learn more about him and his backstory. Oh, of course. Ha, there it is. A little bit more about his story, how he got to where he is with his journey. You can also read about his military service, ways to contact him if you want to send him a private message or a love note, and ways that you can support Dylan right here on the page.
Yeah, and I will say, just kind of on the support, I kind of have this, I have this set up. And I'm going to do it with the budget that I have. Um, there are several times like there's things that I just don't have kind of in the budget at the moment to do. But I'm kind of viewing this whole road trip right now as a scout mission for where I'm going to come back to. And so I'm kind of just kind of scoping things out and checking it out. But if you yeah, if you want to support, and whether that GB sharing or monetary, yeah, it's kind of like you kind of get to create the journey as well. You get to kind of have a role in it, and that's a part that I'm really excited about. Like with this live stream kind of feature that we're going to do, I'm really excited to interact and to hopefully catch people closer to where I'm currently at. Just the nature of video editing, it's never going to be posting like where I'm actually at. And so this will give me a chance to potentially interact with people that are closer by.
Well, and I will say too, I mean, I think you wanted to start the channel, Dylan, to promote interaction along the way. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the channel, the website. I mean, I feel like most people would like to like go somewhere and maybe like not interact, especially after COVID. People kind of, they're inside a lot and um, I feel like I have social anxieties that I didn't have before. But you, on the other hand, Dylan, you want people to interact with you. And so I think that you start these things just to get people to talk to you. There was actually someone who had seen your videos prior to actually meeting you, but like that created a good interaction. So like I guess this is my plug is like if you see this video and then you see Dylan somewhere,
Oh yeah. Say
please
something.
talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a selfie. Do something. Yeah. We can.
Yeah.
I said it
Mhm.
like I think I said it in the last video. I mean, seriously, if I'm driving by and you want to pull over and have a roadside chat, I'll do it. 95% of the time.
That's why we put the bumper stickers on. You get the bumper stickers,
Yeah.
the magnets.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those things. I don't like to kind of be. I kind of like to just kind of do the thing and kind of rock on. Um, yeah.
Well, Dylan, I tell you, just from where I sit, it's an honor to be part of your story and watch you do this and be part of this. So glad to be a supporter and a viewer. And thanks for having me on today. This was great.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, speaking on that, just a generalized update. I recently got accepted into the Wounded Warrior Project's Independence program, and so that's going to kind of provide kind of ongoing neuro kind of assistance as needed So we're not really sure yet exactly what that's going to entail, but I'm just it's exciting to kind of be already accepted into that program and not have to worry about that. Yeah. What else?
You want to slow down and soak it in?
Yes. Soak it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm loving this. This is kind of being able to kind of have the freedom to go out and do it. It's been kind of truly made possible from all of you, but especially you two. So yeah, I certainly am appreciative and could never repay the support that you've given me.
Of course, buddy.
Oh, well, Dylan, you kind of do. I mean, listen, I'm sitting here most nights and I can see on the GoPro cloud what you're uploading from, you know, a beach like the redwood forest. Like, you know, we're also getting to like be on this journey in a way, in a nearly lifetime way. So like, um, from the comfort of my couch, Dylan, I get to see the Pacific Northwest this week. So thank you.
Well, my pleasure, truly.
All right. Well, we'll call this one good. We'll sign off and say goodbye. All right. So,
All right.
Dylan, what do you want to say to your fans as you sign off?
Hey, thanks everybody. I hope you enjoy. Comment, share, do it all. Subscribe, but most of all, don't forget to slow down and soak it in.
Hi there, I'm Dylan. I'm a Mississippi-born U.S. Army veteran, and at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with a rare early-onset dementia. So, I left my job, and I'm traveling around the country meeting people and creating memories while I can. So hit subscribe and join me on my journey.